Okay. So so basically the visualization and pandas, right? These both of this kind of um, things are very much required in data pre-processing. When you clean your data, right? I'll tell you about the data science life cycle. When we go to machine learning statistics, I'll tell you about data science life cycle. So in the cleaning, data cleaning step, we need both of this library, which is very important, right? So we'll discuss about it. So what I will do is first I will open my Jupyter notebook and create one new file. Okay. So what we are going to discuss today is a very, very important module, and it is very, very essential module for everyone, irrespective of your kind of role, whether you are a data scientist, data analyst, data engineer, even Python developer, right? This is something called visualization. Basic charts, most of the time, we always kind of need, right? Um, so visualization in Python, we have different kind of modules. In Python, we have three major module. Uh, one is your Seaborn, right? Seaborn is the library, you can say. Another library is called Matplotlib. Actually, Matplotlib is the base library from which Seaborn is derived. And then we have something called Plotly. So in this particular course, we'll be discussing about Plotly. Having said that, I will be uploading the notes for Seaborn and Matplotlib. If time permits, I will take you through them at a very high level. Otherwise, you can learn yourself. So why I have picked Plotly, right? And why not Seaborn and Matplotlib? So most of the time when you see code, most of the people will be using Seaborn and Matplotlib. Why? Because this is easy, right? This is easy. And this is little difficult, right? This is little difficult. And if you know Plotly, there is something called dash. So you can easily understand dash. If you have a little background about Flask, right? You need to understand about Flask or Django. With Plotly, if you know Django and Flask, you can create free of cost web app, right? Complete web app, server client architecture, complete web framework. You can create a UI. You have seen the COVID-19 dashboard. Those kind of dynamic dashboards you can create. Very nice visualization dashboard you can create. And for that, you need Plotly and Django knowledge or Flask. So that is called Dash. Dash and Plotly are very similar. The graph you will do using Plotly, and the front end you will develop using Flask. So Plotly is very, very, very important, and it is my favorite. Why not Seaborn Matplotlib, and why I think till last two batches I was covering Seaborn Matplotlib, but from I think previous to your batch onwards, I am including Plotly, not Matplotlib and Seaborn. I'll tell you why. So I'll show you rather telling you. So I'll go to this, and then let's say Matplotlib, right? So Matplotlib, if you go, this is the official documentation site of Matplotlib. So Matplotlib is a plotting library in Python programming language, and it is very much inspired by a tool called MATLAB. Most of the people must have heard about it, MATLAB, right? So from there, Matplotlib is inspired. It is not only for data science. It is for it's a general purpose visualization library. You can use it for simulation. Different plots are there. It is very, very vast. Like we have different kind of plot. Every plot we can do customization. We can do so many things we can do. Only thing is this is static, right? Now I'll tell you the difference between static plot and dynamic plot. So for example, there are tutorials available. For example, let's go to introductory kind of tutorial, and let's take some plot, right? Let's say this is one plot. So you can see this plot is static. So what do you mean by static? Static means once you see the plot, you cannot do any changes. Can I select a part of this chart? Answer is no. Can I zoom it, zoom in, zoom out? No. can I see the values when I'm keeping my cursor here? Can I see the values? No. So this is a line plot using Matplotlib. So this plot is static. Similarly, Seaborn is something which is totally for statistical analysis. Seaborn is derived from Matplotlib. Internally, it is using Matplotlib. Now, Matplotlib syntax is little difficult. That's why Seaborn people has created, and Seaborn is very similar to Matplotlib, right? Seaborn is something for basically data science. So if you are a data scientist, you should be very expert in Seaborn, right? So let me show you Seaborn official site, right? So this is the Seaborn site. I'll give you a quick revision maybe on Seaborn once I complete Plotly. Quickly, I'll take you through Seaborn if time permits, right? You go to tutorial, go to Seaborn and go to tutorial. The best tutorial you will ever get, right? The best tutorial you will ever get for Seaborn is the official documentation site. Let me repeat. If you want to really understand Seaborn, you please go through official documentation site. This is very well structured. So I can show you here in the right hand side, you can see plot, multi-plot grids, plot aesthetic. In the left hand side, you can see different kind of plotting functions. So plotting functions you will understand once I complete Plotly. This part will be very easy. You will understand the grammar of every plot, and then just you need to understand the syntax. And I will also give you quick brief about different I will cover both Seaborn and Plotly, though it is not there in the syllabus, but I thought of covering both. Once we complete Plotly Express, maybe Saturday's class, I'll give you a quick overview. Not detail, Plotly we will see detail, but Seaborn I'll give you a quick overview, so that anywhere you see Seaborn code, you can at least understand. But I'll tell you the path. After that, what next you need to learn. This is your Seaborn documentation site. Again, if you go to any plot, the plots are nice. Only difference is it is static. So I'll show you. Let's say this is a bar chart. How many lines of code you are writing? One single line of code you are writing. Seaborn dot cat plot. What is x-axis? What is y-axis? And done. Your nice chart is created, right? So chart creation is very easy. Having said that, look is also very great, but it is not dynamic. It is static. And that is the only thing I switch from Seaborn and Matplotlib to Plotly. And Plotly itself is difficult. Plotly itself is difficult, but we are going to use something called Plotly Express. We are going to use Plotly Express. Now, what is Plotly and what is Plotly Express? Plotly is the visualization library. It is very difficult to code using only Plotly. That's why Plotly Express is the wrapper, right? Or kind of highest one more layer on top of Plotly. So every day we will be using Plotly Express for creating graphs. Uh, Sometimes if customization is needed, we'll be using Plotly. Otherwise, most of the time, Plotly Express is self-sufficient. Very nice charts within single line of code you can generate. Within seconds, you can create nice charts. And now you only see yourself what is the difference. The same line chart or same scatter plot if I see here, let's take this particular scatter plot, right? We discussed scatter plot. You can see this is dynamic. Can you see? So any point if I'm keeping my cursor here, I can see what is my x-axis, the width, what is the y-axis value, and what is the color. So the color is virginica, right? Another column. So if I keep moving, I can see the values. This is called dynamic. Not only this, you can see here we have option for zoom. I can zoom in, zoom out, right? I can crop any part. Crop means what? Let's say your client is telling you, okay, this is for entire thing. Can you select where sepal length is between 3 to 3.5? I want to see what is happening to petal length. So what I will do is, or simple question is, can you select only the points where the species equals to virginica, red color point? So can I do that? Yes. So or let's say only setosa plant. So I will select only setosa plant. I'll unselect versicolor and virginica, only setosa I can select. And then here also I can select further, let's say this part. So I can kind of select and double click, it will go back, right? Double click, if you do double click, it will go back. If you want setosa and versicolor together, you can select both, right? And you run it, you can see the entire picture. So this is something called interactivity. right? So this is a simple example of difference between Plotly, Matplotlib and Seaborn. Let me repeat. What we are discussing is data visualization using Python. Now in Python, what all options you have? You have multiple libraries. One is your Matplotlib, one is your Seaborn, and one is your Plotly. Whenever you download any data science code, most of the blocks you will find codes are written in Matplotlib and Seaborn. Why? Because Matplotlib and Seaborn are very easy to write, right? But in real time, if you create this dynamic plots, your plots will be very much appreciated by the client. Not only this, you can write your plot in HTML file, and directly you can download that HTML file and share it. Are you getting what I'm saying? This plot I can generate in an HTML file, and that file I can share with my client. So it will open in localhost. So your client no need to install anything, and he can actually see your plots in HTML page, which is a very good thing according to me. Not only that, you can create dashboards. Dashboards means multiple plots in one page, right? Um, so there are so many options we can do using Plotly. So it is way more advanced than Matplotlib and Seaborn, right? Is it clear at high level? Did you understand any doubts so far? So we are going to complete Plotly Express, right? We are going to see line by line different kind of plots, almost 10 to 12 plots we will do using Plotly Express, right? Everything we will cover. But I will stop here. Any doubt or we are all good? We just started. We have not done anything, but just I want to ask.
Yeah, Sasmitha, this visualization will only help in data pre-processing.
uh, Basically, if you have historical data, right, you want to first analyze the historical data, right? Then only you can use it for training and predicting the future values. So for historical data analysis, you have to create charts and graphs to make to find insights from the data. So it is useful in data pre-processing or cleaning or insight generation. If you're a data analyst, your whole job is data visualization, nothing else. You're not going to do modeling. If you're a data scientist, a part of your job is data visualization. Okay, for the historical data, you need to understand the insights. I'll tell you some examples so that you can relate what I'm saying. Okay.
Ma'am, one doubt.
Yeah.
So with this, how does the visualization tools like this, and then what is the difference between Tableau, Power BI, and these kind of graphs for visualization?
There is no difference. Only thing is that is paid and this is free. And as that is paid, it is drag and drop. So if you're using Tableau, right? So here you are writing code, right? Here you are writing one line of code to get this graph. You have to write this 2 lines of code. But there, what you will do is you select there will be options scatter, bar, histogram, pie chart. You will select what plot you want, and then you will drag which column you want to keep in X, which column you want to keep in Y, and then I mean the chart will automatically create it. No coding is required. Drag and drop. That is the only difference. And I think most of the other things, like there are some additional parameters, like you can do many things that you're doing in pandas you can do using Tableau directly. Like you can do joins, multiple data frames, you can do inner, outer, left, right, joins you can do, right? That those are additional. If you talk about visualization, most of the things that we are doing in Tableau we can also do using Python, which is completely free, right? The difference is you need to have understanding about visualization first, right, to do the charts. Coding you will do here. There it is automated, drag and drop. It's a tool.
And when you are saying about coding, so the coding is what we say DAX is what the coding is.
We will be using Plotly. Dash is something different. Plotly is a part of Dash. Dash is a library which will use Plotly for visualization, and also along with Plotly it has Flask and Django support. So you can create web apps. You can create web apps using Dash. So that
Sorry, ma'am. I was saying
D,
about DAX, DAX.
what is that? I am not sure about Dash.
The data.
DASH is, yeah. So what is dash? What I am talking about is dash, DSH. That is a Plotly library.
Okay.
Yeah. Give me 1 minute. Okay, sorry. So we will be discussing about Plotly Express. And what we will do is one by one, we will discuss mostly about the plots, right? The first thing is we need to install Plotly Express. This is an additional third-party library. You will not get it with Anaconda, right? So in the note that I'm going to share, already the code is there. You need to write pip install Plotly and then underscore express. So if you write pip install Plotly Express, it will install Plotly Express. Already I have this particular software installed. Tool is installed, so I'm not running this. You have to install Plotly Express. After you install, you have to import the packages. So what all packages I need? I need pandas because some of the kind of analysis I need to do, loading data and stuff like that. I need, maybe sometimes I need NumPy if it is required. So I will be importing NumPy also as NP, and then along with this I will be needing Plotly Express. So I'll write import Plotly, right? Import Plotly dot express, right? As px. So whenever I am writing px, this is nothing but Plotly Express. Plotly dot express as px is nothing but Plotly Express. It is nothing but Plotly Express, right? Now the first kind of chart I want to do is called scatter chart. Already we discussed about scatter plot. What is scatter plot? Anyone? Anyone remember when I will do scatter plot?
Ma'am, for
When I will
relationship between variables.
Yes. So anytime you want to understand the relationship between the variable, you can use scatter plot. Now I am completely beginner. I have no idea about Plotly. I don't know how to take help, and I don't know what all functions are there. Always what you can do is you can either write px dot the syntax in Plotly Express is very simple. There is nothing for you to remember. Very easily you can write the code. The syntax is very simple. Plotly Express dot the function name, whatever plot you want. Please mute yourself, everyone. So in this case, what I'm writing is px dot and then I'm hitting tab. So let's say I want all of these charts you can do. Like we have bar chart, we have density, we have funnel chart, line chart, 3D chart, pie chart, range, scatter, 3D scatter, geo scatter. So many different kind of charts are available. I'm going to use scatter plot, right? And I don't know how to use it. I want to take help for scatter plot. So you can see the signature is so many parameters it is taking. We have data, which is nothing but my entire data frame name I will pass. In this case, whatever is the data frame name that I will pass. Along with the data frame name, I will pass what is my x, what is my y. If you understand the theory, we need both x and y to do scatter plot, right? It's a bivariate plot. I will pass what is my x, what is my y, color. So what is this color? Color is nothing but another axis you can visualize, mostly categorical column with respect to color. Symbol, size, what is the size of the scatters, I mean the circles. What is the size of those circles you can control, and you have facet row, facet column. This we will discuss later. Text, we have text. Just remember this thing, later we will discuss all of this. We have hover name, hover data, text, facet row, facet column. We have size, we have category order, so many, marginal x, marginal y, range x, range y, title, template, width, height. So I can control the height of the my image, width of the image. What is the x-axis range? What is the y-axis range? I can I can control the color, many things. So we will discuss all of this parameter one by one, right? Most of the important ones we will discuss. So I will start with a basic plot without using any of this parameter. So first, for this I will be using one data set. The graph that you have seen, the scatter plot, is iris plant data. So this is a built-in data available within Plotly. So Plotly has some set of data. So for which what I can use for my example purpose or for practice purpose, I can use the data which is available within Plotly. So I'm just writing px.data, and then if you hit, we have all of this data. You can try all of this data one by one, and you can use it actually. So let me close the door and come. Give me 1 minute. So you can see we have absolute import, we have car share data, we have election data, we have gap minder data, IRIS data, medals data, stock data, right? We have different kind of data set. These data sets are kind of practice data set, you can say, which is already there within Plotly. So I'm going to use such one such simple data called IRIS data. So what is this data is looking like? Let me show you, right? This data is very helpful later in the course. We are going to use this data for different purpose. So let me show you some rows, right? Head. So let's say head of four rows. So what is this data? So we have four numerical columns called sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width, and then we have a species called the plant species, right? The plant, the iris plant has three different species or category. One is setosa species, one is versicolor species, and one is virginica species. And every flower has four property: length, sepal width, petal width, and then the species. If you want to see, you can also see the data set. Let me show you the data set. It will be clear. Iris plant, iris, simply iris. Right, so if you see this, so this is how the iris flower is looking, and you can see there are basically three species. So if you see here, somewhere you can find, so this is the sepal. Can you see this diagram is clearly showing? So you can see there is a petal length and petal width, petal and sepals. So why I'm showing this? Because this is important, right? This data set we are going to use for other operations also later. So this is iris plant, right? You got an idea what is the data set is about. So about this data, there are three plants: setosa, versicolor, virginica, and we have the length and width of petal and sepal. Based on that, we are saying this plant belongs to this plant belongs to this species, and so on. Now, what I want to understand is if the petal length is more, if the petal length, right? If the petal length is increasing, whether the petal width, right, is also increasing. This question I have, right, in my mind, what question I have looking at this data is, so how you will do data visualization in the project? I will tell you something called hypothesis generation. We will do this multiple times in this course. Any data set you are getting, you have to create such questions in your mind. This is called hypothesis generation, and based on your questions you will create one chart, right, which will answer your question. First question I'm asking is, if the if the petal length is increasing, whether the petal width is also increasing. So means, is there any relationship between petal length and petal width? Now to answer this, I will be doing scatter plot. So how to do scatter plot? Px, you tell me the code now. Px dot, I will write scatter, and in bracket what I will write, the first, if you remember the help, first is data frame. So what is my data frame name here? I have given the data frame name as df. So I will write df, and then comma x-axis. Can anybody tell me what is my x-axis will be? Petal length, sorry, petal width and petal length. What will be x-axis? X-axis will be petal length, right? Any one of it you
Petal
can
length,
take.
petal length
Yes,
one, and y-axis
yes,
will be petal width one.
yes. X-axis will be petal length and y-axis will be petal width. So simple code, simple one-line code, and will generate the graph for you. Nice graph, right? And free of cost, completely open sourced. So Tableau license is $1,400 per user. Even good companies cannot afford, right? Live about startups. So if you can give a free solution, everybody will like it, right? So Python will give you free solution. And also there is a maintenance cost. It's not, if you have developed any app using Tableau, every year you have to pay 1400 for the maintenance of that app. Here it is completely free. So you can see some scatter plot, right? So what is x-axis? X-axis is sepal length and y-axis is sepal width. And you can see this is how I got a plot. What you understand looking at this graph? Is there any relationship? No relationship? Can I assume petal length if I'm increasing? What is happening to petal width? Do you find any pattern? Tell me.
Directly proportional.
Right? Positively collinear. Now you start telling statistical language. So we will call this positively correlated. Is it clear? Petal length and petal width is positively correlated, right? Now, in this particular case, what I want to understand is I want to see species. Now, all of this point belongs to some species, right? The first point may be belonging to some species. So I want to see species as my third axis or color. So what I will write is color equals to, if I write here species. So what is happening? All of these points will be colored based on their species value. Now what has happened is the same scatter plot, but you can see based on color, it is the points are colored based on the species, another column. Species is another column. So actually in two-dimensional space, I am viewing three dimensions. One is your petal length, petal width, and color is telling me about species, which is another dimension or column. So if you see this, what you can clearly understand is the species that is a setosa or blue color is different than the species versicolor and virginica in terms of petal length and petal width. Most of the plants which belongs to setosa are having a very low petal width and very low petal length, less than 2 petal length and 0.5 less than that petal width, right? Most of the plant which belongs to virginica has a higher petal width and higher petal length, starting from 1.5 to 2.5, and petal length is starting from somewhere 4.5 onwards. And then the middle kind of plant which has a sepal width of 1 to 1.5 and petal length of let's say 3 to 4, within that they are belongings to versicolor. Are you getting? So much information I can infer only by writing color. Color equals to virginic species. Is this clear so far? Is this clear so far? Color, did you understand color? Is it clear, everyone? Please say yes, yes, if you understood. This scatter plot is clear? Yes. Okay. Now what I'm just keep adding one by one parameter, and you see what new graph I'm generating, right? Code is so simple. There's nothing to remember. Plotly express, right? Dot the plot name, and then within bracket data frame, what is X, what is Y, color, and then I can also use something called marginal X and marginal Y, right? These two parameters are there. You can see the parameters after today's class by taking help. What I'm going to do is I will write marginal X, marginal underscore X. So what I want is marginal underscore X. I want to see another. So this is two in one plot. One plot is scatter plot, one plot is box plot I want to create. And I want to create a box plot for x-axis. So I will simply write marginal x equals to box. I know this code is not very clear, but wait, let me show you the result. You will understand what I have done. So you can see along with scatter plot in x-axis one more new chart has been created. This chart is nothing but box plot that we have discussed yesterday. And what this box plot is giving me, this box plot is telling me the distribution for petal length, and there are some outliers for versicolor, right? For virginica it is no outlier, for setosa it seems like one outlier, and for this thing you can see the complete description. All the plants which belongs to versicolor, the median petal length is 4.35, the quartile 1 petal length is 4, the quartile 3 petal length is 4.6, the maximum petal length is 5.1, the minimum petal length is 3, and the outlier here the petal length is something, right, 3 something here. One outlier is present for versicolor, for virginica no outlier, and for each plant, for each species, for petal length, complete summary statistics, right? For virginica, what is the mean, what is the median, what is the Q1, Q3 of petal length? If you want to see for petal width also, like the y-axis, this I have shown for x-axis, that is petal length. Now if you want to show it for petal width, what you will write here, you will do a comma and then you will write marginal y. So marginal underscore y equals to what extra plot you want to generate in y-axis. So you can not only generate box plot, but you can also generate any other plot, so as of now we just know two plots, that's why I'm just writing box plot. So you can see x-axis and y-axis, clearly it is showing the box plot. So how many outliers are there for petal width for Setosa class? Two outliers, right? Are you getting? So this is what is called marginal x and marginal y. This is not only box plot, you can try any other plot. For example, you want a histogram, right? You want to see the histogram. Don't worry about histogram. We will discuss about histogram. What is that? But let's say you want histogram for y-axis. You can simply write y equals to histogram. So for x-axis, you will get a box plot. For y-axis, you will get a histogram, right? I will stop here. Is this clear? The marginal parameter, is this clear? Color and marginal. Is this clear? Any doubt?
Ma'am, I have one question. I'm not sure whether it's relevant. Ma'am, when you have changed the marginal x and marginal y,
Yeah.
the outliers are different, right? So does it make a difference, ma'am? There is
No,
one
no, no.
outlier in case of the blue.
This is outlier is same actually. Previously it was for x-axis. Now it is for y-axis. There are two box plots. See here. So let me make it. So the first box plot is for petal length. The y box plot is for petal width. So x-axis marginal x box and marginal y box. So you can understand this particular this the highlighted one, right? This particular box plot is for which column? Which column? X column. What is x? Petal length. This particular is for y column, petal width. So for petal width there are two outliers. For petal length there is one outlier. Is it clear? For Setosa.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Chandini is saying we can't hear you, but my voice is clear, right? Others, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, we can hear you.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think Chandini, can you please check your connection? Like maybe some audio issue from your side, right? Okay. So we are just understanding different parameters. We have lot of options. Simple function, we can set the color, x-axis, y-axis, multivariate. This is called hybrid plot. Multiple plots in one graph. You can set the range. We can set the height, width. We can set many parameters using this particular thing. Okay, so now what we are going to discuss is something called, again, the same parameters, but some extra parameters called, we have discussed about facet row and facet column, or facet row and facet column. So we'll discuss about that, which is very important, right? Hey, sorry, I was muted. So what I was saying is this data doesn't have many categorical column. That is the problem. Most of the column are numerical. You can say only one categorical column, species. Now I'm going to use one more column which has many categorical column and many numerical column, right? Combination of both. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use another data called tips data, right? So what is this tips data and why I'm using it? Because I'm going to do some plots which need categorical column, right? And this data has many categorical column as well as numerical column. So what I'm doing, df dot I am writing head of let's say head of 3, right? Df dot head of 3. So you can see I have total bill, tip, and then I have sex, smoker, date, time, size. So who has visited my restaurant, how much bill they have given, what is the tip amount, whether they are smoking or not, what is the day, on which date they have visited my restaurant, what is the time and the size. Everything we can see from this data, basically restaurant data, right? All the visitors information. Now, in this particular case, if I want to understand per time, so we have two time, dinner and lunch. Per time per day, we have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Every day during lunch and during your dinner, I want to understand, let's say, what is the relationship between total bill and tip, right? So I'll tell you one thing. So what I'm trying to understand is, the question is, if I am ordering more food, is it like I will be giving more tip? If I'm ordering more food, will I be giving more tip? That is the kind of condition I'm checking, whether any relationship exists between total bill and tip. So what I will do, I will write px dot, I will write scatter, and within bracket I will write df, the data frame name, and then x-axis. X-axis is nothing but my total bill. X-axis is my total bill, and then I have my y-axis, and then my y-axis is my tip, right? This is my tip, and this is my x-axis. So x-axis and y-axis is total bill and tip. And then what I want to do is, let me add this new parameter called facet row and facet column. You can see what difference it will make, right? So now if I just write facet row and time, can anybody explain me what it is doing? Now in pandas, if you have to convert this output, what function it is using? Pandas, which function is equivalent to this? Time, dinner, time, lunch. You can see total bill and tip scatter plot. What happened now? What this parameter is doing? Facet row equals to time. Anyone? Yeah, anyone, you can go ahead. Whatever is coming, you can explain.
It is grouping by the time.
Exactly. It is very similar to group by, correct? Data frame, time, data frame group by time, and then you are visualizing total bill and tip. Is it correct? So you group by time first, and then each group you are doing scatter plot. On group where time equals to dinner, you do scatter plot between total bill and tip. And then a group where time equals to lunch, you do a scatter plot between total bill and tip. Not only row, you can also select column, right? You can also select column. For example, per time and per let's say uh, column equals to, let's say I'm writing a day. So we have different days, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on. So you can see the columns are nothing but day. We have 4 days in the data. There is no Friday, there is no Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The data is not there for those days, right? We have only 4 days for where people has visited. So Sunday, Saturday, Thursday, Friday. For each of this day, what, and you can see for Sunday and Saturday, nobody came for lunch. This is what I can understand when I deep dive into 4 levels, right? On Sunday and Saturday, nobody visited for lunch. Most of the people are visiting for dinner. On weekends, the crowd is more. On weekdays, the crowd is less. Lunch, people are visiting mostly on weekdays. Dinner, people are visiting on weekends. Um, and Thursday is the day where, Thursday or maybe Friday, many few people visited in total. Is it clear? Facet row, facet column, X, Y, data frame, everything. Is it clear? This parameter is clear? Color not, sorry, clear, not clear? What? Please say yes, no. Okay, it is clear, right? One second. So I can also use color as size. So I have one parameter called size, right? How many people visited my restaurant? 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have already discussed color. So you can see this color scatter plot is nothing but your size, and the color bar you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? In the right hand side, right? So is it clear? So far, is it clear? Right? Naga, you understood, Harish. Okay, great. One thing you can do here, there are so many parameters actually you can play with. One thing is sometimes what will happen is the days you are not okay with the order, right? Let's say Sunday, Saturday, Thursday, Friday, you want to rearrange. You want to make it Friday, sorry, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? Can you do that? Answer is yes. There is one parameter called category order. You can, this is a dictionary, right? And in that dictionary, you can right key is the column name and value is the order, right? I'll show you, then you will understand. My what I'm trying to do here is I want to order the columns. I will be using category and then I will be using order. Category orders, right, equals to, I will be writing within a dictionary. I will write for which column I'm doing it, for day column, and what is the value, right? And in bracket I will pass the value. First I want, let's say, first I want the Thursday, and then I want the Friday. In what order I want I can write, and then I want, let's say, Saturday, and then I want, let's say, Sunday. So this is the order I want to use for day column, and then I will run this, and you can see the values are arranged according to this particular order. Let me run this and show you. Is it clear what I have done just now? So this, and let's say you also want to order for the other one, let's say day, and then the time is row, right? So what you will do, this is a dictionary again. You decide another element. So that is nothing but time. You are doing it for time column, and in time you want first it is dinner, right? Now you want for lunch first, right? And then you want for dinner, then you want for dinner. So if there are multiple columns or multiple rows like this, you can arrange the order. So you have many options. Just you need to explore it. Is it clear so far? The category orders, is it clear? Category order, facet row, facet column, all of these are clear?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, but one thing I have this question, ma'am. Ma'am, I think we also need to know how to think like a data science scientist. You know, how to plot all this.
The scientist in the sense? So yeah, so that we will do when we'll go to the project. So we have enough projects, don't worry. So we have 6 7 use cases, right? Machine learning. So we are just learning how to do, and we'll connect the dots in the project. So in the project, when you get the data set, you need to first generate the hypothesis, and then you will create the graphs. But to create the graphs, you need to understand the syntax first. You need to understand what all of options are available. Once you know that, you can use it later. We will use all of these graphs in a project. So when we do a project in the data cleaning, we'll be doing these graphs, right? Okay,
Okay,
maybe
ma'am.
tomorrow's class we will see one project where we will use pandas and plotly so that we can connect the dots, right? So what do you think, tomorrow we will connect, or you want a break tomorrow, Saturday? Even if we are connecting also, we'll do a project only. We'll not discuss any mostly new topic. It is a kind of project visualization. Plotly will do plus pandas. We'll pull one data set and I'll be giving you questions, and it is a revision of pandas and plotly. Some of the things that maybe sunburst chart and other new charts we will do, but most of the things what we have covered we will be revising.
Yeah, ma'am, we can connect and said, yeah, I think that will be much better.
Okay, no
Yeah.
problem.
Thank you.
Okay. So other options you can explore. For example, all of these things like one by one you can explore. For example, let's say your requirement is you want to increase the height and width. So what parameter you will use? You don't know what parameter. No need to remember also, always you take help. So what I will do, my requirement is I want to use the height and width I want to increase. So if you take help, you will understand that there is a parameter called height and width, and then you include height equals to what and width equals to what. You can set whatever you want, right? You can go down the last two parameters. You can see somewhere here, right? Height and width. Can you see the last one? None. By default it is none, but you can select width equals to 5, height equals to 10, height equals to 15, width equals to 20. Anything that you want you can play with. Similarly, sometimes if x-axis is number, right, and you want to set a range, I'll give you one example, something called xrange and yrange. That also you can play with. For example, here in this particular graph, the petal length is varying from 0 to 6. Sorry, 0 to let's say 8. You want to change the x-axis from 0 to 10. So you can write x range equals to 0 comma 10. Y range is 0 to it is going till 2.5. You want to take it till 3. So you can write y-axis or y range equals to 0 to 3. So what I mean to tell you is you have multiple options, though the method is very simple. Most of the time we don't explore the options, but it has
So,
a lot of options.
so ma'am, width and the length would be what kind of a parameter? Kind of like or meter or whatever. What would be
No,
the parameter
uh,
we need
I'm
to
not
set?
sure about a centimeter, I guess. So you can
Mhm.
write 5 or 10. You can try. If it is looking very big or small, you can adjust accordingly.
Okay.
For example, let's say width equals to I'm writing 7. Right? Let's see what is happening. It is throwing error. Value, what error it is giving. So width is what format we need to see. Received value 7. Width property is a number and may be specified as an integer or float in the interval of 10 and infinite, right? This already given me hint. So within 10 and infinite, so starting from 10, I'm giving 7. So it is a number, an integer or float in the interval of 10 to infinity within that, right? So let me try some other value. So not 7, maybe 17, right? And you think that's why, and this is
Okay.
very weird. So you can try like this. Maybe you can take some other value, right? Maybe 17 is too less or something. I don't know. Let me try some bigger number. This is how it is. So by default, you can see it is taking your full space. So width is something which you can play with. When you play with different values, you will understand. So it is giving you hand. It's starting from 10, not less than 10 you can take. Minimum is 10 and infinity is the maximum. So you can 10 bigger value, 200, 300, maybe you can try, right? 400, 500 like that. Okay. So one more important thing I want to tell you along with all of this property, one thing is hover name or hover mode, which is very important. I'm just showing you for scatter plot. This all properties are valid for any plot. Are you getting? So for any plot, let's say you are doing a box plot or any other plot, this color, marginal X, marginal Y, and then your facet row, facet column, X range, Y range, width, height, uh, all of these parameters, most of the parameters you will find, right, in any other function also. Yes. So yeah, so this is all about your this thing, scatter plot. So like scatter plot, there is something called line chart, which is very similar to scatter plot, and then we will stop today in line chart. Tomorrow we will continue, we'll do one project and we'll discuss other kind of plots. So what is your line chart? Line chart is very simple. So if you join all the dots, that is the line chart, isn't it? So if I join all the lines like this, let's say If I do a line chart, I have to join all the dots, If I join all the dots, I'll get a very messy line chart like this, right? Very messy line chart. This is my line chart, right? So a line chart mostly useful for time series. If x-axis is your year or day or week, something like that, and y-axis is your sales or stock market, gold price, something, right? So you want to see how the trend is over the time or something like that. So line chart is very helpful, right? If you want to understand the overall picture. This scatter plot is messy. So line chart will give you a smooth line. So you'll understand what is happening, whether it is increasing, decreasing over the time, or what is happening. So very simple. Line chart is very simple to scatter chart. Only thing is you need to just write, instead of scatter, you need to write line. And then same thing, you write what is your data frame name, you write what is your x-axis. uh, let's say for line chart, as I said, we need a data where date is there, so that line chart will make more sense. If I do line chart in this particular case, you will see very messy line chart. Why? Because the scatter plot, you can see it's so many points. So if I join lines, it will be very messy. Does not make any sense in this particular case. The objective of scatter plot and the objective of line chart is different. Scatter plot will give you patterns. Line chart mostly we use for time series data. So when mostly I will use line chart is called for time series data, to understand what is happening to y over the time, whether it is increasing, decreasing, what is the pattern, right, over the time. So for that, I will be using a very nice, very good data that is called, again, I will take one practice data set from where I will get from plotly.data. I will be loading some data called Gapminder, right? So what is this data is about? Let me show you some rows, you will understand. So we have so many columns. We have date column also in this particular case. We have country, continent, year is the date, life expectancy, and then population, GDP per capita, and then ISO alpha, I'm not sure what is this, and then ISO number. So this is what basically the data set. So country, the continent is divided into countries. Each
Ma'am,
country,
so where
yeah,
you like extracting the data dot gap minder. So is it you have the data or you load the
no,
data?
no, this is, I have loaded from Plotly. So these are practice data sets, which is
Okay,
available
so
within data module of Plotly.
okay, so you already uploaded like we need to give some path like the previously we did in Matplotlib. That
No,
I'm
we no need to
confused about
give any. Yes, I understood. So we no need to give any path. Why? Because this data is not present in my local system. Where is this data present? This data has come to me when I have installed Plotly, pip install Plotly Express. When I have
okay,
done that, this data is already there. So whoever has developed Plotly library, they have
okay,
something called, yes. So this is built-in data, practice
oh,
data, which
built-in
is,
data.
yes, which is there in Plotly library,
Okay,
inside Plotly library.
okay, it's very clear. So similar data we can extract like so there will be a lot of data there, so we can
Yes,
extract that those data from there.
correct.
That's
You
it.
can extract and use. Tomorrow in project class, I'll give you one nice data, order data, and we will see all of these charts, everything in one dashboard. I'll tell you how to create a dashboard, multiple plots in one graph, sorry,
Mhm.
one page. And also I will tell you how to write all of this into HTML file, right? Within one line of code. So tomorrow we'll do in our real-time data, right? This is also real-time only. Only thing is these data sets are already uploaded inside Plotly.
Oh, inside
Okay.
Plotly. Okay, very clear, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, no problem. So what I want to understand is year-wise, what is happening to life expectancy? What I want to understand per continent, let's say Asia, and then we have Europe, and then other continent. What is happening to the life expectancy over the year? Is it increasing, decreasing? What is the trend looking like? So I will be doing px.line, and within bracket, first I will pass the data frame name, that is df. I will pass x-axis. X-axis is always, most of the time, it is the time. In line chart, x-axis will be the time. Here the time is year. Over the year, I want to see life expectancy. So whatever column I want to visualize over the time, that will be my y-axis. So this is my y-axis. I will write x equals to year and y equals to this. Now what is my color? So color is nothing but continent wise or country wise I want to see. For example, here I want to see continent wise. I'm writing color equals to continent, right? And then what I'm doing is, let me make it simple. So first let me run it for this, right? You can see a messy graph. Why this very messy? Because many countries are there, right? Many countries. So Asia has all the blue lines. So there are maybe 10 or 15 or 20, 25, 30 countries present within Asia. So all the blue lines, you can see here the continent is Europe and all that, which is not very clear. You can kind of select if for one continent you want to see, let's say for only for Americas we want to see, so we can select only this and then I can see, which is not very clear, right? This is many countries. So you want to see this line, I can only see the continent is America, and all for all the blue line the continent is America. So what I want, this line belongs to which country, that I want to see. So very important parameter, something called hover name. What is this will tell you. Hover name, you can add this parameter in any graph, not only this, in scatterplot, in any graph you can add. Hover name will add another column value. When you keep your cursor along with continent, you can also see the country. See now only continent I can see. Now I have added hover name equals to country. Let me run this. Now I can see the country also. Can you see Iceland? So only let's say I want to see for Africa, right? Only I want to see for Africa, and this is the number of countries. And if I'm keeping my cursor, can you see along with continent, I can also see the country, reunion and all that. Is it clear what it is showing? So that is the power of hover name. That is the power of hover name. So you have many options. This is the power of hover name. And then I will add one more simple. I will stop here. Is this clear? This line chart is clear? Any doubt? X, Y, color
And
and hover name.
ma'am, is hover name same? जैसे it hover name that in UI technologies we use hover in the line where the hover is used, the color changes in UI web technologies. Ma'am, we use hover now.
So here hover, here the color is for continent. So if the continent is same, the color will be same. If the continent is different, the color will be different. You want to change it to, you can change it different way. For example, this is country and this is continent. So many countries are there. So color will be on the basis of country now. Many colors you will see, multiple colors, because we have so many countries, right? It will be very messy, I guess, right? You can see we have color, different colors. So we have all of these countries. And let's say only one Afghanistan or something you want to see, you can uncomment everything. So let me select. This is the beauty of this thing, Plotly. So I can select any small part of it. Let me do it. 1 second. Right, so if you double click, it will go back. So the last part, let me select this. This is selecting this thing. Okay, I just want to select vertical, not vertically, horizontally. It's a little difficult to select horizontally. Right, now you can see one by one country, right? So again, this is, as I said, this is the space is not correct. We need to expand the graph to see all the country, but you can see one single line is one country right now. And if I keep my cursor, if I keep my cursor in any point, I can see what continent that belongs to, right? Why I am able to see? Because of hover name. So whatever hover name, the color is based on country name, and the hover name is something based on the continent, based on the continent, right? Whatever continent it belongs to, based on that I can see the hover name. I think there is some issue with this. It got hanged. But is it clear? The hover name is clear with it, or it is doubt,
Yes, ma'am. Clear, ma'am.
right? Okay, so we have not completed. We have many other like area chart, sunburst chart, bar chart, many charts, 4, 5 different charts are there. Having said that, tomorrow we will connect and then we will complete this assignment with respect to a project. So what I will do is initially I will display the questions and you will tell me the answer tomorrow, right? You will paste the code answer in the chart window. So prepare pandas very well for tomorrow's class. Pandas and at least Plotly, whatever we have covered till today, you have to prepare. And when we connect tomorrow, I will tell you the questions, you will tell me the answers, right? One more thing I have planned, and that is 2 interview kind of thing we will introduce. From your batch onwards, we are starting. So what is that? That is something called mock test or mock interview. How you will be facing coding test. I want to prepare you before you go for interviews. It will be a 3-hour test, not now. Once we complete more than 60-70% of the syllabus, once we complete 1 or 2 machine learning algorithm, then we will have one test. It will be a combination of everything, and every question has a time limit. One question from pandas, one question from the visualization, and then one data set I will give. Within 3 hours, uh, you need to run a simple model and give me the result, right? So how in real time you will face interview questions, coding test, that is how it will be. Within 3 hours you need to complete, and in the next class when we connect, I will discuss the solutions, or maybe I will provide the solution. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Will that helpful? At least you will understand where you stand, right? When you
Yeah, yeah,
code
ma'am.
and you,
Very good.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
ma'am. Yes,
very
ma'am.
good initiative.
so you will actually feel it, how the stress level is, because now what is happening, you have unlimited time, so you can google and but that is not going to, that will not be the case in real time coding. The question will be new, the logic you need to think within time, you need to code. If you're not doing anything also, at least you will understand where you stand, right? That will be an eye opener for you. So we will do it. When we will do it, once we complete linear regression, maybe next Saturday, or yeah, maybe next to next Saturday or next Saturday. We will connect on Sunday. Saturdays will be class. Sundays something. So I will not be there. I'll just display the question. It will be exactly like a interview. I will share you the link in the chart. That will not be this kind of thing. You will click that link. You will get the questions. The questions will be displayed, and you open your Jupyter notebook and the timer will be there, 3 hours time. You do entire coding test, and these questions, I am tied up with many US consultancies, so I know what kind of questions actually they ask in interview. I have seen many students going through interview process or job process, so these are real time questions. Don't share with anyone, but you will feel it, how the questions are, what difficulty level it is. And you will not get solution from Google, so don't try to search it. These are very good questions from very good companies. If you are searching, you will waste time, so better you try to do it in your own way, right? Own logic. So the topic for the next interview question will be pandas, Plotly, and one small machine learning code you need to implement. I'll give you a data set, and you need to, from data collection till model deployment, right? You have to do a small linear regression project. That is what it is. Okay. Okay, so let us connect tomorrow. We'll continue.
Hello.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Tomorrow,
everyone.
yeah, tomorrow
Yeah,
at what time? Tomorrow at what time, ma'am?
same time, 8 p.m.
Okay.
Every day, same
Then,
time, Monday to Friday.
Monday to Friday. Okay. And Sunday
Ma'am,
we have class. Sunday.
No, Sunday only the coding test. That is your practice kind of test. That there will be no class, only coding test. Questions will be displayed, 3 hours time, and you have to complete. And then the
Okay.
solution I will provide after the test, and you will get a score also. You see
Uh,
where you stand, right? That kind of thing.
on Sunday we have same at the same time we have class, right? Right, madam?
Sunday, I think it will be late, right? 3 hours. So you can
Yeah.
tell me. I think morning will be fine, right? Or maybe little early we can start, 7 to 10.
so ma'am,
Kind of.
This Sunday would be our test, or next Sunday?
No, no, no. This Sunday we have covered very less topic. Next
Okay.
Sunday will be the test. Next
And
Sunday.
and one quick question, ma'am. If like you given the assignment and you are just going through all the class assignment topic wise. So apart from
Yes.
that, if I want to practice my coding skill
Yes.
for a relevant topic you have covered so far. So what source I can see or practice from there, or website or some link there.
So I think for Python, there are many websites, W3 School and many other websites are there where they have many questions you can practice. For data science and other things, Kaggle is the platform where you can practice. Many problem statements are there, questions are there, like actually hackathon they arrange so that you can
Yeah, they
practice.
arrange the Kaggle. Yeah, Kaggle. They have the big data. They have they put that
Yes,
data.
and I will tell you some data set source link where you can get many data available. And I mean problem statement if you want, I think Kaggle is the best platform to practice for
Okay.
different domain. I'm saying you will find project from e-commerce, banking, every domain project you will find there. That is the best platform to practice if you want to practice, right?
And what about like a Python coding if I want to because I'm the beginner, so is I want to just test myself whether I stand myself like I need to improve or what I need to do. So where I can
There are
practice.
many websites, W3 schools and others, they will give you simple questions. Honestly, those kind of simple question, you will not get it
Yes.
in real time. Yes,
Yes.
you need to focus more on data structure, sorting kind of algorithms, and
Okay.
mostly math related basics. Like I'll tell you when we go to statistics, I'll give you a
Okay.
simple example. Let's
Okay.
say
Sure.
standard deviation, you know what is standard deviation theory, but you have already always used numpy functions, you have never implemented. Now in the
Okay.
coding test they will tell you to implement standard deviation without using any package. So even for mean you have to write logic. Are you getting? Now what we are
Okay.
doing, dot mean we are writing, correct? Have you ever
Yes.
thought how to find mean without writing dot mean? So those
Okay.
kind of questions you can expect. Very scratch without using any package. Every math you have to implement yourself. You need to write functions.
And
Those
ma'am,
kind of, yeah.
even we need to go through the how to say data structure or algorithm and that topic to
So if
to
somebody is giving you data set and tell you to give a solution, that is easy according to me. Then your data structure, Python coding questions, because those things actually, if you do 1, 2, 3, 4 projects, your code will be ready. So one code copy and paste. I mean, getting most of the things you can recode, kind of reuse. Sorry. But
Okay.
in this particular case, you cannot reuse anything, right? From scratch, you need to write your own logic. That's called real analytical skill thinking checking. So what, as a data scientist, people are not worried about syntax. People know that the Stack Overflow, Google is there. You can copy paste.
Yes.
They are
Yes.
worried about your analytical thinking. Are you smart? What is your
Okay.
IQ? So that's what. So they will judge you based on your analytical thinking, how you're solving a real problem, right? A mathematical problem, how you're solving. What
Yes.
is your approach? That will
Mm.
be the coding test questions. And anyway, your project experience, they are going to ask you in the face-to-face, one-to-one, later, second, third round, right? So coding test, they will check your analytical skill, how nicely you can solve problems. What is your approach? Okay. Okay,
Yes,
no
ma'am.
problem. So you attend
Okay.
the interview, you will find it's really good. So I will summarize everything, whatever
Yes, that will be
according to
very
my
helpful, ma'am.
experience.
Yeah, it's kind
Yeah,
of
it will
like
be
get
helpful.
to know
Yes.
exactly where we stand.
So that is really helpful. Like, see, after teaching so
Because
many times,
yes, yes.
when I
Actually,
go
ma'am,
for,
I'm sorry. I just interrupt you. So I actually am working in the electrical field, and I
yeah,
already initially told I just wanted to do my thesis in machine learning, but somehow I
yeah,
couldn't make it. But now, like, I want to just switch over to electrical to machine learning field. So that's thing I want to prepare myself before going for the interview and all those things. So here a
no
lot of
problem.
job is in Taiwan. So like actually I want to
Mhm.
is not I go in the interview and nothing I'm telling there. So I want to prepare in that situation Where can I
Correct.
just
Yes.
the interview or get to
See,
like
I'll tell you one thing. If you honestly prepare, there is like definitely you'll get a job if your CV is shortlisted. There I cannot help, but by somehow if your CV is getting shortlisted, I don't think any interview is difficult. Let me tell you one thing. The interviewer are very common people like us. So when
yes,
I'm taking interview, I'll ask basic questions, right? What
yes, yes,
mostly
yeah,
people ask, right? So it's very easy to crack. And if you have a very good Python experience or you're very strong in Python coding, mostly analytical thinking, I don't
yes.
find any reason you will be rejected.
Yeah,
Only
and
thing is,
moreover, like I want to add here, ma'am. Like it's not about like cracking the interview. I think it's time on like the ones you'll be get interview call, they more or less this hire you. But basically, let's say when you start to working on the real project inside the company, so where I should not struggle at that point. So yeah, in
yes,
this way, I
yeah.
want to prepare. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, that's true. That's true. So I'll
Yeah.
tell you one thing, in company you can very well sustain. You will not be, I should not tell this, but
Okay.
I mean with basic knowledge, I'm able to I am able to kind of be the best performer in best companies, right? One of the very good companies, there I am best performer, and I don't know many things. Like there are so many recent advancement happening. So what I'm saying is there is a
No, ma'am,
great
you know not
skill
okay.
gap.
Yeah.
No, no, I mean,
Yeah.
what I'm saying is before
Yeah.
I go into industry, right, I was thinking I got selected in Goldman Sachs, and you know, everybody in Goldman Sachs is from IIM, IITs, and
Okay.
all. I'm not from IIM or IITs. I was very scared. I got the job, but whether I will be able to perform better or at least stay there for longer time or not, I do agree the job pressure was so much. But what I
Yes.
found is, um, in real time, if you have basic skill set, you can sustain. It's not like that doing very high level job that you cannot do. Are you getting?
Yes.
So the same
Yes.
thing what
Yes.
we are doing here, same skill set is required in industry also to sustain, right?
Yes.
Though
Yes.
they are from IITs, but ultimately everybody is doing the same job. So
Yeah.
it's not like some great thing, some extraordinary high level things, right? It's very
Yes.
basic
Yes.
things only all companies are doing. Okay,
Okay.
anyways, so
Thank
let us
you, ma'am.
connect
Thank you
tomorrow. We'll continue.
for
No
input.
problem. Yeah.
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 Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah.